everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be back on this channel. I love this channel. I can't believe I abandoned it for so long, but I'm back with a new series that's been on my mind for a while. It's based on this wonderful cookbook that I found a while back. It's called the Ultimate Final Fantasy XIV Online Cookbook. It's got some wonderful recipes in here that I'm so excited to try. Today I'm going to be baking. I'm going to be making the honey muffins. I'm very excited to try them. So come along with me and let's make some muffins. So this is what the recipe page looks like inside the book. These muffins are perfect for beginner bakers. The prep time is around 30 minutes, although I took a little longer, and the cook time is 20 minutes with a yield of 12 muffins. I will include the recipe in the description box for anyone who wants to make these. I highly recommend them. They're so delicious and addictive. For equipment, you'll need 2 small bowls, a medium bowl, a whisk, and a standard 12-cup muffin pan. Although I will say that if you have an electric whisk, use that when mixing the wet ingredients. It will make your life so much easier. So here are all the ingredients lined up. I managed to find everything I needed in one grocery store trip, which is great, although I did have a little bit of trouble with the cardamom. Cardamom is a spice I had never heard of prior to making these muffins, and the ingredients list does say to use ground cardamom, but I could only find the pods. So I ended up getting the pods anyway, and then I used my hands to open up the pods and get the little seeds out, which I then crushed with the back of a spoon because I didn't have a mortar and pestle at the time. So I will say, to make your life easier, just get the ground cardamom if you can, but otherwise you can get the pods and do what I've done. So now I'm weighing and mixing all the ingredients for the crumble. I started with the 90 grams of rolled oats, then added the 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour, followed by the 75 grams of brown sugar, and then I added the half a teaspoon of cardamom that I had crushed by hand, and then I added 45 grams of unsalted butter, followed by the 1 tablespoon of honey, which is the final ingredient for the crumble. So I did make a small mistake during the mixing process. I tried to use an electric whisk. Please do not do this. As you will see, all the ingredients will go flying everywhere. You will have the opportunity to use an electric whisk later on when you're mixing the wet ingredients, but for this crumble, please use a manual whisk. It will take a little bit longer and will take a little bit more effort, but you will get the right texture eventually, so it's all good. So although the electric whisk error did cause a mess, fortunately I didn't lose much ingredients, so it was fine in the end. Here's my bunny Lulu supervising my whisking, and I was pretty satisfied with the end result because the crumble texture turned out great. Now that I'm done with the crumble, I've wrapped it up and put it in the fridge, leaving it to refrigerate while I prepare the rest of the ingredients. Right now I'm weighing and mixing all the dry ingredients for the muffins. So this is 360 grams of all-purpose flour, followed by 1 tablespoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and 50 grams of sugar, and then I'm mixing this all together with a fork. So now in a separate bowl, I am mixing together all of the wet ingredients for the muffins, starting with 56 grams of unsalted butter that has been melted and cooled, followed by 250 ml of oat milk, 1 egg, 225 grams of honey, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is a lot of honey, but it is so worth it because the flavor is so beautiful. We were so obsessed with these muffins. All 12 muffins were consumed within 1 day. So that gives you an idea of how delicious this recipe really is. So once you have thoroughly mixed the wet ingredients, you can then gradually start adding in the dry ingredients for the muffins that were mixed earlier, and this will create the batter for the muffins. This is definitely my favorite part of any baking process when I get to create the batter. I love using the electric whisk and creating that rich batter texture. It's so satisfying to watch, as you can see here. So for this last part of the preparation, the recipe does say to use Nonstick cooking spray on the muffin pan. However, I already had muffin liners, so I filled the muffin liners with the batter and then topped it with the crumble that I created earlier, and this is what it will look like inside the muffin pan prior to going into the oven. So exciting! Even my pet chocobo was so excited to see the end result. I also wanted to show you my adorable cat oven mitts. They're so cute! So here are the muffins going into the oven, and about 20 minutes later they will look something like this. Delicious, luscious, soft goodness. This is a wonderful recipe and I'm so happy with how these turned out. At this point my kitchen smelled like heaven and I was so excited to devour these. These are wonderful for anyone who's interested in baking, and if you're relatively new to baking, I really encourage you to try these out. They're so easy to make, as you saw throughout this video. Highly recommend. And also I want to thank everyone for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And here I am tasting the muffins for the first time. I was so pleasantly surprised and happy with how they turned out. Very delicious, 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!